And I certainly don't think that black people should just expect racism because white people are going to stop being that way. There's plenty of people that are still going to be that way. But just because I'm white or we're white doesn't mean that we are.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. That's literally what that means. Look, my fellow rice cakes, I'm going to say something out loud that you would probably prefer I kept to myself, but we are terrible at self-examination because we are obsessed with being perceived as good. We are good people with good intentions who do good things, and we know that racism is bad, so we're offended by the mere insinuation that we could be capable of dehumanizing anybody. And that line of thinking right there is why we continue to take L's left and right, because you can't confront a problem if you don't acknowledge the problem exists. Listen, you are not evil and bad because you were born white, and no reasonable person is saying that you are. What we're saying is that it is a problem if you don't acknowledge what it means to have been born white in a racist society. It is a problem if you're not willing to examine the privileges, I know we all hate that word, but the privileges, the benefits, and the means of insulation we inherit by virtue of being born white. And it's not that we can't experience other disadvantages, including some that we may share with Black, Indigenous, and other people of color. We can be discriminated against on the basis of our sexuality, our gender, our physical abilities, our economic status. There are plenty of reasons why a given white person might grow up in a shitty situation. But the color of our skin has never, ever, ever, ever been one of those problems. And if you can't say that out loud, then you're being racist. White folks, we have to disabuse ourselves of this notion that to be racist is to walk around throwing out the N-word left and right. That's not what that means. Racism sleeps. Racism waits. Racism is little things that you don't even know that you're doing until somebody tells you about it after the fact. If you could always see racism from space, then we, and by we I mean white people and only white people, wouldn't have been so shocked over the last few years to discover that so many of our loved ones are big old racist bags of shit. Because one, racism is subtle, it sneaks up on you, it manifests in tiny ways, and two, we never had to interrogate those behaviors because we were insulated by racism. Listen, bigotries of all kinds often manifest unconsciously, by accident, and the only way we can catch it, the only way we can be vigilant, is to rely on other people to let us know and then to build our experience around that knowledge. If you can just get comfortable with the fact that prejudice is an inherent part of the human experience, then getting feedback about it will involve a lot fewer tears and heartbreak. In conclusion, my fellow Snowmericans, to be good is to accept your limitations and be okay with being wrong.
Family, there is a phrase that says, not all white people are racist. And every time someone says that, I want to ask them one simple question. Why is your first instinct to defend innocence instead of addressing injustice? Why? Now, before I continue with this video, because I want to play you a video of a white lady who was saying that, and then there is some reactions. We're going to play and see what's going on. But before I continue, you have been asking me about why I'm not doing African videos. Why am I talking about Africa? There is a YouTube channel called Neo Africa. You go there and see what's happening there. Africa is there, and we are talking about Africa on that channel. Now, let's continue. You see, when black people speak about racism, we are not talking about individual kindness. We are talking about a system that shapes the world that we live in. We are talking about a system older than your grandparents. We are talking about a system built before your birth certificate, a system that doesn't care if your heart is pure. Now, this conversation is not just about whether every person hates black people, but it's about the fact that society was never designed to love black people. Let me say that again. Black pain did not begin in individual hearts. It began in systems, institutions, and power structure. And when we speak about that, some people rush to say, but I'm not racist, I don't see color. My people, that reaction alone reveals the problem, because our struggle as black people is not about proving whether someone is a good person or bad person. Our struggle is about survival, dignity, equity, and liberation. Our struggle is about the fact that black people didn't expect racism because we are negative. We expect it because history trained us. History or society taught us, and experience confirmed it. Let's watch this clip first, and then we're gonna come and talk more.
Whenever white people are accused of being racist, the first thing they always say is, I don't have a racist bone in my body. Scientifically speaking, the bones are not where racism is held. So actually, even the most racist person doesn't have any racist bones in their body. But what's really wild is that bones have been used for racism. They used to literally say that black people have different bones, like stronger bones, which justified slavery. So actually, bones have been used for racism, but bones can't be racist. So to recap, when somebody says they don't have a racist bone in their body, they are correct, but it still means they might be racist because bones do not hold racism, but bones can be used to do racism.
So I'm going to say something, and some of you aren't going to like it, but it needs to be said. There is no such thing as neutrality when it comes to racism, and here's why. I've seen a lot of people identify themselves as not racist. But in order to identify yourself as not being something, you have to also be able to identify yourself as being something. Not racist is not good enough, because then the next natural question from there is, well, what are you? Your two options would be racist or anti-racist. Being anti-racist requires active education and unlearning what systemic racism has taught us. So if you're not actively putting in that work to dismantle racism, then you cannot be anti-racist, which therefore only leaves one other option as to what you are.
This might be a hot take, but I don't see color is not a good thing. A lot of white people use this as an excuse to prove that they're not racist, when in reality, they're actually demonstrating that they have zero cultural competence. Everyone is different. Everyone comes from different cultural backgrounds, has different religious practices, family traditions, and other aspects of their life that make them unique. It is almost, to me, a way of forcing assimilation. You're saying, I don't care what you look like as long as you conform to these standards. And that's typically the way that I see it used by when white people say this. But the second someone starts to act like the stereotype of what people think of, then that becomes a problem. Wearing traditional regalia from your country, or speaking in your native language, or making traditional food from your culture, those things become issues because you are not assimilating in the way that white people expect. So when they say, I don't see color, they absolutely do, but they will ignore the fact that you look different if you assimilate. The goal is to be like, I do see you, I recognize you're different from me, but that's okay, and I accept everyone's differences. We all are unique and bring very interesting things to the table. Peace.
I don't see race. I don't use race as an identifier.
I audibly gasped, physically clutched my pearls. The person I stitched didn't say that. They were telling a story about how a white person said that to them. And here's the thing, when white people say they don't see color, this is how they feel inside when they say it.
I might not be the same, but that's not important. No freedom till we're equal. Damn right I support it.
And what they don't realize is that it feels like a hate crime. It feels like a hate crime. Like, Samantha, let's be real, you know I'm black. You know I'm black. You see it. Pretending you can't see it, pretending it's not there, conveniently prevents you from having to take any responsibility in terms of unpacking your racism. Because anytime you're called in, right, to analyze and unpack your racism, you just say, oh, I didn't even know that she was black. Like, I didn't see it. I don't see color. Oh, yeah, Becky, I'm pretty sure you just called me a nigger.
I recently posted about white people saying that they don't see color, and I called them out on it. But wouldn't you know, in the comments of that very same post, a bunch of white people showed up saying, well, I don't see color. White people, stop saying that. Let me tell you why. First of all, it's not true. You do see color. If I put a picture of Beyonce next to a picture of Taylor Swift, you could figure out which one is black and which one is white. You know. You also know who's more likely to get followed around in stores. Saying I don't see color does not make racism go away. It just makes you look like you're covering something up. And that right there is privilege. And that's the whole problem. You get to ignore race because it hasn't hurt you. You get to walk through the world like the rules are fair because for you, mostly they are. But people of color don't get that option. Their race gets noticed all the time in job interviews, in classrooms, in traffic stops, in hospitals, just in the neighborhood. If you say you don't see color, what they hear is, I don't see what's hurting you and I don't plan to. Whenever you say that, that's what people of color hear. You think that you're being kind and open-minded and open-hearted, but what you're really saying is your experience doesn't mean anything to me. And that's not kind. That's dismissive. It's privilege. So here's a better way. Admit that you do see color. And admit that you know it affects how people are treated. Say that you're paying attention and let people know that you want to do better. See? Now that's love. That is respect. That is how we grow as people. If this made you think, one share shows you care about race in America. And if you want to support my work, my Ko-Fi link is in the bio, or you can just type it out from here. Get curious.
Good morning. Just like I replied to this under the original post, you don't actually have the prerequisites to have this conversation, but I still would like to pose a question. And I've posed this before on here and I have yet to get a really good answer, so maybe you can help me with this. If black people in America, we're talking strictly America, if black people in America are equally as racist or even a little racist towards white people, what are y'all doing about it? Where are y'all's protests against being treated poorly by black people? Who are y'all's civil rights leaders to make sure black people do not oppress and hold y'all down? Please show me where in history y'all had to make your own educational institutions, where y'all had to make your own hospitals, where you had to make your own businesses, specifically because nobody would serve y'all. And I'm dead serious. If there is all this hatred and oppression against white people in America, I need to know who to talk to make sure whoever doesn't hold y'all down. Because I think civil rights should be for everybody. So I want to know, who do I talk to? Who's your white leader? Because it was a pretty big problem to black people. Big enough that we had an entire fucking movement and several more movements about it. So where is the white movement to stop these black people from holding y'all back from the success that y'all are so due and owed in America?
So I primarily date outside of my own race, culture, and ethnicity. And one of the most powerful conversations I ever had on a date stemmed from the fact that when I was asked if I'd ever dated someone of color, I responded, well, yeah, of course, I don't see color. And they stopped me and said, I understand you mean well by that comment, but I am going to explain to you why I don't particularly like that comment. And they told me, if you are going to date me, I need you to see my color. I need you to see when I walk into a room full of people that are not of my color, how they look at me and treat me differently. I need you to see and notice the people that enjoy my cultural foods, my cultural music, my cultural holidays, and then turn around and treat the people that created that culture differently. I need you to see my color, because if you don't see my color, you're never going to see the people that truly do see my color and judge me for it. And you're never going to be able to understand me fully.
I need all Caucasians who claim they are not racist to stop wasting your time coming to black platforms preaching about how all Caucasians are not racist, and instead use this time to unify with all of the other Caucasians who claim they are not racist and fight to destroy the advantages y'all receive off of my people's disadvantages. You see? Address the racial disparities. I need y'all to come together with all of the Caucasians that claim they are not racist to fight to have bills passed by Congress so that cops can no longer kill my people. You see what I'm saying? The problem is a lot of y'all are just talking. A lot of y'all are just talking but not doing shit. It's, oh, we're not all racist. Oh, we're all human beings, this and that. But y'all are not addressing the disadvantages. You see? Y'all not addressing it. So y'all leave me no choice but to assume that the majority of Caucasian people agree with their, you know, white supremacy benefits, because y'all are not doing enough as a collective, as the collective. There's way too many of y'all to not be fighting. If y'all really cared, if y'all really want to see change. Y'all not doing enough. Stop wasting your time coming to black platforms saying the sky is blue. Basically, Caucasians are not all bad. Cool. But what are y'all doing? What are the Caucasians that are not bad doing to change this bullshit? You see what I'm saying? Don't waste your time coming to me. Don't waste your time coming to other black platforms. Do what y'all gotta do. Or just don't say shit at all.
Welcome back. Now, this isn't about guilty. I'm talking not out of guilty, but this is about just awareness, simple awareness. Because we must talk about these things. We cannot leave it. We must educate ourselves. So I'm not talking about, or this is not about personal character. We are talking about structural power. Okay? We are talking about the lived reality of black people on every continent. So if you are truly not racist, then you must hear this. Okay? Your job is not to protect your image. Your job is to help uproot the system. Because a good heart or a good heart in a bad system means nothing if you refuse to confront the system. That's simple. Having a good, you're having your own siblings, maybe 5 of you, and you are the better person there. You have good attitude, good, whatever you're doing is good, whatever you touch is good. But your other 4 children, some people are thieves, others are, just bad people. The neighbors will say the family of so and so, that family has bad people. It's a bad family. So your work as a good sibling is to change this other sibling so that you create that image, you rebrand that image so all of you can be good. Okay? Because as just I have said, a good heart in a bad house means nothing. Okay? Now, we don't want white guilty. As black people, we want white honesty. We want your honesty. We demand accountability. We stand in our own identity. Okay? Because we do not want to ask for validation anymore. Black people ain't begging for acceptance. We are building a future where acceptance is no longer permission. It is relevance. Because we are reclaiming our power. We are reclaiming our narrative. We are reclaiming our place in this world. So stop worrying about who isn't racist. Start asking the question that who is willing to challenge racism? That is the real measure of you having a good heart. Okay? So understand this. When black people speak about racism, we are not speaking about feelings. We are speaking about systems. We are speaking about structures that existed before any individual closed their beliefs. We are speaking about power, about politeness. We are speaking about reality, not reassurance, not politeness, not reassurance. And every time we raise that reality, someone stands up and says, but I'm not like that. But I'm not like them. But I'm not racist. Family, listen to me. The moment the conversation shifts from truth to ego, the truth dies. Okay? When someone's first instinct is to defend themselves first instead of confronting the system, they are telling you that your experience threatens my comfort. And comfort has never been the birthplace of liberation. Comfort protects the status quo. Comfort protects innocence. Comfort protects illusion. But our people did not survive slavery. Our people did not survive colonialism, segregation, apartheid, redlining, and modern oppression just to protect comfort. We survived by protecting truth. Now, let's look deeper. Why do some people panic when racism is mentioned? Why? Number one, because in their mind, the conversation triggers this formula. Racism exists. Racism is evil. And if racism exists around me, then am I evil? Then they jump to moral panic before they get into moral responsibility. They hear the word racism and think that it's an attack on their soul. Okay? But when we speak about that, we are just speaking about a system. Okay? So they hear about personal accusation, but we are speaking about a system. And that reaction alone reveals something powerful. They are more concerned about being seen as good than being seen as doing good. They are concerned about image over integrity, about comfort over courage, and about denial over growth. And family, let me say this: accountability cannot exist where ego refuses to move. Okay? So this is not guilty. It's just about awareness, because we don't want to be guilty. We don't want people to be guilty as black people. We just want people to be honest. Just be honest. No apologies, but we need alignment with justice. Okay? Because guilty without change, it's manipulation. Comfort without truth is deception. Okay? So a system cannot change if those inside the system refuses to name it. A system is a body and we have people inside. So we need to change the people inside the system so that the system can change. As I said, black people do not expect racism because we are angry. We just recognize racism because we are awake. And this is a difference, or there is a difference between paranoia and pattern cognition. Black people did not create this awareness, but history did. Jim Crow taught it, colonialism taught it, police encounters taught it, school systems taught it, media taught it, health system taught it, and global power structures continue to teach it. Okay? So when patterns repeat across continents and centuries, it is not imagination, it is infrastructure. We don't expect racism because we assume the worst. We expect racism because we have lived through the truth. Black people have lived through the truth for a number of years. Okay? So the goal is not expecting racism forever. The goal is to expect accountability, expect justice, expect equality, expect humility, and slowly shape a world where racism becomes unthinkable. But you cannot change when you refuse to see. You can't. You cannot end what you refuse to learn. Okay? Sorry for that. Now, anyone who says that stop expecting racism is really saying that stop reminding us that it is existing. And that family, it is convenient silence. It is not a progress. Okay? We are not asking to be understood as black people, but we are just demanding to be acknowledged. We don't need your sympathy. We need the honesty. We need partnership in the work of unlearning and rebuilding. We don't need promises. Okay? Because change does not form innocence. Change comes from awareness. Okay? Change does not come from innocence, but it comes from awareness. So listen to this. We are in a generation where black consciousness is rising again, and black dignity is rising again, black unity is rising again, black global awareness is rising. And when awareness rises, denial gets louder. Not because truth belongs to or truth is wrong, but because of what? Because truth is finally being heard. And history always reacts this way when a people start to wake up. Okay? So, sorry, I'll say this. This conversation, what we are just speaking here, is not about dividing humanity. This conversation is about repairing it. And we are not against anyone, but we are just against ignorance, denial, erasure, and complacency. You know? So, because racism is not just individual hatred. Racism, it's a policy, it's a culture, it's a philosophy or psychology and global economics woven into the society. Okay? Now, racism have survived for so long. And when we talk about racism today, many people will jump into conclusion straight. Like, I don't see color. We are all humans. Let's just move forward, you know. All these words, they sound peaceful, right? They sound peaceful. But family, those phrases are not unity. Those phrases are evidence disguised as harmony. Because if you refuse to see color, then you also refuse to see conditions. You also refuse to history. Someone who says, I don't see color, that means what? That means when black person is facing police brutality, or when black person is being followed in store or everywhere, this white person who say he or she does not see color will just keep quiet. Why? Because I don't see color. It's like white. It's white, it's black, it's the same. That is not racism. You know? That's the root of all of things. You need to see color. You need to see color. Okay? Because if you say I don't see color, then they are not freeing us. They are freeing themselves from accountability. If white guys say I don't see color, they're freeing themselves from accountability. Because color is not the problem. Racism towards color is the problem. Okay? Blackness is not the wound, but the system's relationship to blackness is the wound. Now, I'll say this. We have the psychology of innocence culture because we live in a world where many people want to be seen as good, but not many want to be seen as responsible. Okay? They want the identity of goodness without the labor of confronting truth. And that's why there's an episode I did yesterday. I said, white people, they want our creativity, but not the people, not the black people, or they don't want things that comes with the blackness. So they want to say I'm not racist instead of asking, how has racism shaped the world around me today? That's what we need to talk about. Okay? I have a lot to talk about this, but I will finish by saying that black people are not asking for protection, but we are asking for recognition. We need to be recognized for what we have done for the country. Black Americans have built America. Africans are still feeding the world. We need respect. That's all I'm asking. You have heard the videos from the ladies. You have heard the reaction. Tell me what you think in the comment section about that video. Until next episode, peace out.